and we are just getting some new information as to the number of the victims in this, the casualties. So we're getting this from sources with knowledge of the investigation that 11 people are injured, plus 5 patients taken by civilian vehicles, just driven to St. Marie's Hospital, and at least one of them in critical condition. So it was a scene, just people are wounded, can't wait for an ambulance, we're just going to move. 5 people did that. 11 others have been transported as well. They have been injured. We don't know exactly of all these, we're talking about the casualties here, how many of them were hit by bullets, trampled by others, ran into something we don't know. But we do have 11 people injured, plus 5 patients taken by private vehicle to St. Marie's Hospital.
We're listening live reporting here, and you see that they're now accessing information from local sources. They're from our affiliate KNTV in Northern California, Gilroy, California. If you're just joining us here on MSNBC, it is 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern. As we watch this breaking story coming out of Northern California, again, this location is a food festival. We got reports of this locally, that this happened right around 5:30. That would then put it about 3 hours ago, a little bit less than 3 hours ago, when the reporting is that there was an active shooter. And that at the latest, we do not have confirmation of any of that here at NBC News, but what we're hearing from local sources, as well as a local affiliate, is that, and you heard from them, that they were saying 11 injured, and again, in terms of where they are in terms of local locations. We also hear, according to the Associated Press, that the local spokeswoman at a hospital there saying that they have at least 5 people hospitalized today from the Gilroy Garlic Festival, that coming in from Santa Clara Valley Medical. In terms of information more than that, we don't have that in terms of their condition. The numbers at the moment in terms of active shooters that were initially associated with reporting coming in around 5:30 to 6 p.m. local time. Again, that would be here Eastern time around 8:30 or 9. We don't know the number. We don't know the type of firearm. We don't know as of yet where and which part of this food festival he was at. Now, this garlic festival is in Gilroy, California. As mentioned, it was about an hour and a half south of San Francisco. The town of Gilroy has less than 50,000 people, but on a 3-day event like this, and Sunday being the 3rd day, this would be not the busiest day. It would also be a day where most of the programming, the demonstrations of different types of dishes, etc., at these different food stands would have ended. According to the Garlic Festival itself, the last scheduled event was 4 p.m. Here we're looking at some live chopper cam pictures on the right-hand side. The Gilroy Police Department, which was the first to put out any information from a Northern California law enforcement agency, did say this, that the hearts of Gilroy Police Department, entire community, go out to the victims of today's shooting at the Garlic Festival. The scene is still active. Now, when they said the scene is still active, this was about 36 minutes ago. And they also say that the reunification point for anybody involved in this is about 10 minutes away, or about, if you were to walk, a good hour. And again, that was about 30, 40 minutes ago that the police department there in Gilroy did put out that piece of information. They also, about 13 minutes ago, did say that a witness line and a family reunification line has been put out. They also are saying, if you did see something today, to please call the number that they have on their Twitter account.